When I met my husband, he made it very clear that he wanted to be with me.
You know that saying that a prophet is not respected in their own land or in their own home? I feel like that is so true when it comes to dating and marriage, when it comes to Black women.
This video is for Black women. My girlfriend is a Black woman. Most of my ex-girlfriends were. And my wife will most likely be Black, most likely my girlfriend now.
So can a white man truly love a Black queen? What it do, y'all? Let's get into it.
Old man will change your life instantly. Some of y'all been struggling with the same dust for years. Old man.
Here's an interesting statistic. White guys view Black women differently than Black guys.
As somebody with a Black mom and white dad, this Black wife effect.
I'm gonna get a lot of hate for saying every Black woman that I know that formerly was with a Black man and is now either married or with a white man is happy.
Y'all gonna have me saying too much real shit today. Just so y'all know, y'all finna have me saying way too much real shit today, baby, and it's not ready.
I've been around for a little bit, and I can tell you from experience why I think that Black women and white men have the longest marriages.
Have you ever noticed something interesting? A lot of people say that marriages between white men and Black women seem to last longer, less drama, less divorce, and more teamwork. But why is that? Is it culture, personality, or just a myth? Hi there, welcome back to Unfiltered For You Stories. Today we are breaking down the real reasons behind this trend. Without stereotypes, without bias, just facts, psychology, and real life dynamics. So we are going to watch some clips, and then we shall try to relate maybe to our personal experience or from other people's experiences, and then we shall give our views and reactions. And without wasting much time, hit that like button, subscribe, and let's jump into this. I'll catch up with you after these clips are played.
When I met my husband, he made it very clear that he wanted to be with me. In fact, he proposed after just 2 months of knowing me. Now, I'm not saying everybody has to have my story, and how quickly someone commits is not an indication of how successful a relationship will be. The bottom line is that when it's your time to meet your person, nothing can stop it. I waited for my husband for a very long time. So many nights crying and praying, God, where is my husband? And up to this point, I had experienced a lot of men who just were never really serious, who confused me, made me think they kind of liked me and then didn't do anything about it. But when I met my husband, there was no question. He called my father within a month of dating me to tell him, hey, I really love your daughter. And he asked for my hand. We ended up getting engaged a month after that and married 7 months later. So really fast. And then I got pregnant with my little baby, and we had her almost a year and a month later after getting married. So I share all that to say that, sis, wherever you are on your journey, it may look delayed, but when the time is right and the person is right, it can happen in a moment.
Here's an interesting statistic. White guys view Black women differently than Black guys. And these statistics don't lie. Interracial divorce rates. This is pretty interesting. A Black man and a white woman are 200% more likely to be divorced. An Asian man and a white woman are 59% more likely to be divorced. An Asian woman and a white man are 4% more likely to be divorced. But this is the crown of the study. A white man and a Black woman are 44% less likely to get divorced. Pretty interesting, isn't it, my sister?
Old man will change your life instantly. Some of y'all been struggling with the same dust for years. The old man can come in and change everything in like a week. I'm not even joking. Okay, y'all are out here playing. Y'all been with the same dusty struggling for years. An old man can swoop in and solve all your problems in one swoop. What he couldn't do in years, baby. I'm not even lying. Y'all need to do better. I'm not even lying. Ask the ones who took the advice. They'll tell you. An old man will change your life in a week. An old man can do something for you in a week that a Dusty couldn't do in years.
You know that saying that a prophet is not respected in their own land or in their own home? I feel like that is so true when it comes to dating and marriage, when it comes to Black women. I think that's why when you see a Black woman with a white man, they date like a month, 3 months, 6 months max. And like, baby, he got the ring on it. Okay? White boys don't fuck around. Okay? I think they see us so clear. Everything from our physicality, our melanin, our complexion, our hair, our eyes, the way we speak, the life that we put into people, the way we uplift people with our presence, just all the things that are often overlooked. White men, when they get up close and personal on it, they're like, I don't know what they were doing, but I'm going to lock it down, okay? Because I ain't effing around about this. And I mean, I've literally had my white husband tell me before, he's like, you know, it really baffles me that Black women are the most unmarried. He was like, because truly, you all are just amazing. He's like, if Black women ran the world, not only would it be, he was like, not only are they great leaders, he's like, but they do things so ethically. He's like, not only could they run everything, but they would do it with so much love and compassion and inclusivity. Like no one would be left out. Everyone would feel, good about themselves. And I'm like, yeah, it's really true. And he's like, and I just don't understand. He's like, that Black men just have first dibs at this, basically. Like they have so much access to it. He's like, and they just, just it's like whatever to them. And so, yeah, I don't know. Y'all can get mad or whatever, fight the plaque on your teeth or with your mom or whatever. But I'm telling you, I see it all the time. White boys don't F around. They lock it down. Love y'all. Stay off.
This video is for Black women. My girlfriend is a Black woman. Most of my ex-girlfriends were. And my wife will most likely be Black, most likely my girlfriend now. And my kids will be Black. And I just want to say that I promise to protect her. I promise that I love her in the right ways and I don't lust her for the color of her skin. I promise that I will always love her and see her for who she is. See, when I fell in love with Black women, it wasn't because of some weird pornography that I was watching or some sort of fetish, no. I was watching Baby Boy and I saw Taraji P. Henson. And what she embodied to me, which was so attractive and so relatable, was the beauty in the struggle. And that's what Black women represent as a whole to me, is how to make the struggle beautiful. Even when the whole world is just coming down on you and throwing you away, you just continue to make things better and more beautiful. I promise to always listen to her when she says something is unjust and not just brush it away as her just overthinking. I promise to respect her when she's not around in all situations pertaining to her race, her well-being, and her character. I will protect her, even from the racial constructs that might be built up in my mind from growing up the way that I grew up. I will always be aware that dating a Black woman is not like dating any other woman, especially here in America, that she must be protected at all costs. For a demographic who really has no allies, I promise that I am one, and I love you. And I will love her and learn to love her better. But honestly, I could never repay Black women for how much they have changed my life and changed who I am for the better. But that's just what y'all do. Love you.
I've been around for a little bit, and I can tell you from experience why I think that Black women and white men have the longest marriages. Here is the first reason. And just so you know, it's not in any particular order. The first one, we are both the fighters in our culture. Look at all of the protests, look at all of the activist program, everything. Black women are at the centerpiece of fighting for our culture. White men also at the centerpiece of fighting for things that they believe in. Both of our gender opposites kind of sit back and be the damsels of distress. They kind of sit back and say, we deserve to be rescued.
So can a white man truly love a Black queen? What it do, y'all? Let's get into it. So I've been with my black queen for 22 years. We have 3 beautiful biracial children, and we have 2 beautiful non-biracial children. And I'm here to set the story straight. We most definitely can love our black queens the way they need to be loved and treated. With that being said, I love my wife. Ain't nothing that I wouldn't do for my wife. I'd give my soul for my wife. But there is some people on the internet that claim because I'm white, I can't truly love my black queen. Now, I ain't gonna mention no names because I do have respect for this man. I do believe he speaks a lot of truth, and I do believe in a lot of what he said. We don't call this man Dr. O. If you know, you know. Dr. O claims that because I'm white, I can't truly, fully love my black queen. But I'm here to tell you, that is BS. He is not white, so he can't say that we can't truly love a black woman just because of her color. Because like I said, I would do anything for my wife. God himself could come down here right now and tell me that I have to leave my black queen or spend eternity in the fiery gates of hell. You know what my answer to him would be? I guess me and my wife are spending eternity in the fiery gates of hell together, just like we are now, together. My wife ain't going nowhere. Doesn't matter what anyone says or what anyone thinks. She is my wife. She's gonna always be my wife. And that's just what it is.
I'm gonna get a lot of hate for saying every black woman that I know that formerly was with a black man and is now either married or with a white man is happy. I don't know why.
So I totally know. I'm a dating coach. I've been a dating coach for 13 years for black and brown women. And I want you all to know that a black woman and a white man combination has one of the lowest divorce rates. There are a couple of reasons for that. One, if a white man is actually engaged, married to, or dating a black woman, please understand that there is a deeper love there because he is having to actually fight against societal pressures and indoctrination and go through all of the stares and the rude comments to be with you, and vice versa. Second thing, if that man has such an open-mindedness about him, he is going to be less concerned about gender roles and help out around the house and do things that maybe an alpha male or a hyper masculine energetic person wouldn't necessarily do. Third, white men are unfortunately have twice the graduation rate of black men. So that combined with the ascending education that's happening for black women means that there is a level of educational equality happening there in hypergamy, which, higher educated people have a lower divorce rate as well. Fourth, because of the education and obviously privileges, white men make almost 50% more than black men. So they can provide for black women and they're not necessarily going to feel as competitive with them as many black men do. Fifth, because they have the money and they're potentially more stable, what will happen is they'll be able to get married sooner. The average marriage age for a white man is 30. The average marriage age for a black man is closer to 35. And I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but I'm sure that many of your girlfriends have been waiting around for X, Y, and Z to get ready to get married, but he just hasn't been there from a financial perspective. Again, I want someone who is going to be the best person for you, and sometimes that might be a non-black man. I want to be very clear here. The marriage rate for black women is 29%, or close to half of other racial groups. Black women are the only group that has a higher divorce rate than a marriage rate. For every 1,000 black women that are married, 31 of them are getting a divorce. For every 1,000 unmarried black women, only 17 of them are getting married. This is the only group where this happens. And because 90 to 95% of you all are getting involved with and marrying black men, we've got to try something different for a different result. So if you want to learn how to add something new to your roster, book a call with me and I can help you do that.
Y'all gonna have me saying too much real shit today. Just so y'all know, y'all finna have me saying way too much real shit today, baby, and it's not ready. So this comment was on the video about colorism and dark-skinned women being violent. Hence why when black women get with white men, those marriages last longer than anybody's. We just need a soft place to land. You know what's so interesting about this? I oftentimes see, the boys, black men, talking about black women in interracial relationships, and they say, oh, it's because y'all submit to them and y'all don't submit to us, when really that is not what it is. Okay, so now, like, I'm currently in a relationship with a black man, but I have interracially dated. And honestly, the truth of the matter is, baby, and they not gonna like it, they love every single thing that black men hate. Yes, I said it. Yes, I said it. They love everything that black men hate. They love the sassiness. Okay, they love the blunt directness. Okay, they love the opinions. They love that you're intelligent and that you're smart and that you have something to say. Okay, they love the assertiveness of you. Okay, they love how straight up that you are. They love the realness. They love your hair when it's nappy. They love how dark your skin is. They love how rich and melanated you are. They love that shit. They love it. I'm telling you, every single thing that I've ever been tore down about by a brother, when I've interracially dated, because I started my life actually interracially dating and then dated black men because I do not come from a predominantly black area. So that's all I had access to. But what I noticed was oftentimes, when I did date out, they like that. I'm the same OG. I am literally the same girl in a relationship, no matter who I'm in a relationship with. Okay. And I have experienced more toxic relationships with black men than non-black men. And it's because I think of the situations that they put you in. And it's not to say that every interracial, dating experience is going to be a positive experience. However, what I can say is that the way that you're viewed is different. Just like how when black men date out, they feel like those women are exotic and they're foreign and they're exciting and they're different. Well, non-black men, when they date black women, feel the same way. Like, we're exotic, we're different. How we do things is different. How we think about things is different. And they're fascinated. And yes, you'll have some that'll fetishize you, but I believe we're fetishized as well in the black community, okay? Yeah, you have some that'll mistreat you, but I feel like we're mistreated as well in the black community. You run the same risk if you're gonna date men, period. But I definitely feel like it's different because of how it's viewed. You're appreciated and loved more. That's why they last.
So why are the white men with black women relationships so successful? This is a question that I think a lot of people are thinking about, especially as black women are potentially navigating into being open to dating outside of their race. But I'm going to give you my personal thoughts, theory on this. Also, if any of you guys follow Anwar, he's a dating coach on here. I love him, and as someone who creates content in the dating space, he preaches to black women to be dating white men. And while I preach go where you were loved, there are some significant differences that make these relationships more successful. I think the biggest thing in the black woman with a white man relationship is peace. That, I think, is the biggest thing when it comes to these relationships, is white men who choose to date black women offer peace. And at the end of the day, women who want to be in healthy relationships or are in healthy relationships, the main things that we are looking for, the main things that they've said that have come from their partners is, I am so at peace. He creates safety for me. He creates a space for me to thrive. I feel like I can be myself. There is no competition. He sees me as a partner and an equal, and not as somebody who is like, trying to beat him or XYZ. So I think that's a big thing. Also, they have the lowest divorce rates, or one of the lowest divorce rates. White men with black women have some of the lowest divorce rates, and I think that is something to be said as well. Besides the fact that these men are usually emotionally intelligent, they've gone to therapy, they understand how to communicate, they understand how to build relationships with people. They are going outside of the societal norm instead of doing what they think they're supposed to be doing. And so if they are with a black woman because they really, really love her, he is following her heart, and he's not just with her just because. Just have to throw in the caveat that this is not all of these relationships. Obviously, you're going to have shitty relationships where you have a white man with a black woman. Preface it because in the last video, everybody's like, not all relationships. Obviously, it's not all, but I'm talking in general here. A lot of these men are also very intentional when it comes to their dating. They're very intentional in choosing their partners. They're very intentional if they're dating outside of their race in understanding their partner's culture. They're understanding in all of it. And especially with like, you know, the world we're living in with racism and all of that becoming a thing, they are making it point so that they can understand and be well equipped, woke, if you want to say, in just being able to understand so that they can help their partner then better thrive, like together. At the end of the day, if you look at these men who are in relationships with their black women, their black queens as they call them, these men truly feel like they have won the lottery in love. Like if you look at my post here with all of the people posting their relationships, all of these men feel like they have won $1 million, and the $1 million was the woman they were with, because they're now a better man because of the woman they have standing beside her. And if you look, you could see it, like you can see these relationships are thriving, they're happy, like you can feel it. And I think there is that common denominator with men who choose to date outside their race. Again, I'm not talking about men who are fetishizing, I can't say the word, fetishizing black women. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about men who genuinely love their black women they're with. They love their partner. They are the love of their life. They could not imagine their life without her. These men genuinely feel like they have won the lottery in love. And they think they're stars every day. They would not have it any other way. They'd probably repeat life to like have the same outcome. Like you can just see the way that these men talk about their partner, treat their partner, just so speak highly of her. He will do anything to make sure that she's happy. And I think that is the common denominator when it comes to looking at these relationships. Now, again, I'm not saying you can't find this in a black love relationship. You can absolutely find this in a black love relationship, but not historically speaking, but realizing the truth of what's coming to light now in like present day and seeing that a lot of black men don't actually like women, and a lot of black men don't like the women they're with, and they don't know how to be a good partner, and they don't know how to treat women in relationships. Why would women want to go to that when they could have the other side, living the soft life, living happy and thriving? So just a good conversation. But if anybody has been pondering like why these are so successful, I think those are some really good points. If you guys have other thoughts on why you think these are so successful, drop them in the comments below. If you like all the positive dating content, make sure to give me a follow. Hi, my name is Keisha. I consider myself to be your dating tip bestie. I'm here to inspire women to never give up on love, because I'm a lover girl at heart, and every woman deserves to be in a happy, thriving relationship.
As somebody with a black mom and white dad, this black wife effect, chef's kiss, needs to be studied on a deeper and more statistical level. Because these glow ups that I'm seeing with these white men who are with their black girlfriends and wives, it's just so heartwarming, and it really hits close to home. And I can happily and proudly say that my father also went through the black wife effect. My mother leveled up my dad in terms of his career. So it was 2001, 9/11 had happened, and the job market completely just went downhill. And my father lost his job due to this. So my dad became domestic dad. He took care of me, he cleaned the house, he cooked, he helped me with my homework, he dropped me off at school, picked me up, while my mother went to work, right? Because, you know, we got to put food on the table. We have to just make sure that things are running smoothly now that he's in this temporary position. My father was job hunting, and mind you, my father doesn't have a degree, whereas my mother does. My dad sees this job at this oil and gas company for a sales position, and it required that he have a degree, but my father didn't have that. So he was like, no, I can't apply for this job. I don't meet the credentials. But the thing about my father is that he has an extensive sales background, and he knows how to talk to people. Okay. He's got the personality. My father could sell you this box of tissue easily. However, my mother was like, boy, please, you gonna apply for this job. I don't care whether or not you meet the academic credentials. You need to believe in yourself. And as a matter of fact, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to touch up your resume Okay, I'm going to clean it up. I'm going to add on to your skills, and I'm going to just, spruce it up a bit, because black wife effect, I believe in you. I can upgrade you like that Beyonce song. My father at the time had to go back to his old job at a restaurant where he was a manager, and he didn't like it, but he said, you know what, I'm just going to go back if something better comes up. My mother eventually sends up his resume. My dad's like, I'm not going to get this job. Tell me why this oil and gas company sees my father's resume and calls him in for an interview. My dad was like, okay, I'm just going to do the best that I can, and we'll just see what happens. Goes to the interview. He sells his skills in sales. But mind you, my father doesn't have a degree. The company calls him back for a second interview. And shortly after the second interview, he gets the job at the oil and gas company. All because my mother, a black woman, believed in him. She believed that my man has all these incredible skills. He's sleeping on himself. And he needs to tap into his confidence and believe that he can get this particular job. He goes into work on his first day and finds out that this very job at this oil and gas company has a lot of perks that come with it. Or he gets his own company vehicle, which was a Ford F-150. He got his own cell phone, which he doesn't have to pay a bill on. And since it's an oil and gas company, he gets free gas. So whenever he's on the road traveling in his F-150, making calls on the mobile phone that he doesn't have to pay the bill for, he also gets free gas. My father is still working at that company to this day and makes very good money. I'm not going to say the figures, but oil and gas, cha-ching. All because my mother, a black woman, believed in him. Now him and my mom paid off their mortgage. They both work very successful jobs. Father works in oil and gas. My mother's an entrepreneur. And they travel 3 or 4 times a year. So they're living a pretty good life. As someone who has seen it for 32 years of her life, as the daughter, as a child of a black mom and a white dad, the black wife trend is very much real. I can see why it's called black girl magic for a reason. And I hope and pray that that man is also leveling you up in some way as well, because I see it in my parents every single day.
So some of the reasons as to why these kinds of marriages may last longer, it's because they choose each other more intentionally. Interracial couples don't date casually or marry casually. Think about it. When 2 people from different races get together, they already know. Some family may question it. Society might judge them. People might stare at them. And of course, there could be cultural differences. So what happens is that they just don't fall into the relationship. They make a conscious decision. And of course, couples who choose each other intentionally usually communicate more. They tend to plan more. And of course, they tend to always think long term. So it's not just the vibes or attraction, it's commitment. And of course, commitment builds strong marriages. So just like one of those creators said, in most cases, interracial couples get into the relationship with intentions because there are more judgments about interracial couples. There are more stares, like they are always on you, eyeing you. So people enter into such relationships with more intentions just because of some issues that are involved with them. Another reason is because the black women are strong and independent who are getting together with these white men who are supportive partners. So here we talk about the personality dynamics, whereby we all know that many black women are raised to be independent, to be resilient, to be hardworking, and to stay emotionally strong. So many black women grow up learning that nobody is going to save them. Like, you have to build yourself. So they enter into such relationships as partners and not as dependents. And of course, many white men who date interracially tend to be emotionally expensive, less controlled by traditional macho expectations. So instead of I am the boss of the house, and guess what? Less power equals to fewer fights. And then there is better communication always between these kinds of interracial couples. And this is a huge one in any kind of relationship or marriage. Because interracial couples have to communicate, they talk, of course, about things like culture, race, family differences, kids' identity, social experiences, and how they will handle outside opinions. So, couples who talk more stay together longer. And of course, a lot of same-race couples assume things, while interracial couples explain things. And with clear communication, it prevents misunderstandings. Yeah, and then also, these kinds of interracial couples, there is more appreciation in it instead of entitlement. That is something that people don't talk about enough. Sometimes in same-race relationships, people get too comfortable. They might take each other for granted, they may assume roles, and also expect things without any effort put in it. But interracial couples, of course, often feel like, I'm lucky to have this person. There is more appreciation, learning maybe each other's cultures and celebrating their differences. So when you appreciate your partner, instead of feeling entitled to them, and of course, that keeps love alive. Then we can also talk about education and financial stability. Some of these interracial couples, they meet in colleges, professional spaces, corporate jobs, and maybe during travels. And of course, which usually means higher education, stable income, and later marriages. And statistically, people who marry later and are financially stable divorce less. So sometimes it's not even about race, it's the lifestyle and stability. In addition to what some of those creators have shared, those are some of the reasons that may make these kinds of interracial relationships to last longer or to be successful. However, important to know is that this does not mean that every white man and a black woman marriage is perfect, or that other relationships fail. Marriage success is about respect, emotional maturity, loyalty, effort, and communication, not the skin color. So race does not create success, but good relationship habits do create success. And please drop your views in the comments. Do you think that interracial marriages face more challenges or become stronger because of them? And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, subscribe if you're new here, and let's catch up in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.